Bitot spots and night blindness are two clear and diagnostic indicators of vitamin A deficiency. Note the white plaque with a foamy surface on the bulbar conjunctiva on the temporal or lateral aspect of the cornea. This patient has come with night blindness and needs urgent administration of high doses of vitamin A to prevent complete blindness. Every practitioner must be able to recognize the significance of these signs, especially in children. In this photograph, we see a Bitot spot more closely. Note the rough, foamy surface and the loss of luster or shininess. And here we see loss of shininess of the cornea and conjunctiva, which is another early sign of vitamin A deficiency. Angular stomatitis. Note the cracks and ulcerations at the angles of the mouth, termed as angular stomatitis. This is due to vitamin B complex deficiency, and this child needs injections and oral supplements of vitamin B plex along with iron to correct the associated anemia. Give glycerin borax or Zyte lotion for local application. We have seen a rickety rosary in the earlier part of this cassette. So I will demonstrate another case with beading of costochondral junctions. See how the costochondral junctions are swollen, forming a line of beads, that is rickety rosary. There is also associated bossing of the forehead. And in this child, we see extreme bowing of the leg bones due to rickets, which softens the bones. It was very interesting to note that after correcting vitamin D deficiency in this girl, the legs became almost straight automatically without any splints. See the extreme bowing. And in this child, apart from the rickety rosary, note the widening of the epiphysis at the wrist, another typical sign of rickets, widening of the epiphysis. Predominantly carbohydrate deficiency results in an emaciated, irritable child, often sick with respiratory infections. This is a typical appearance in marasmus. Note that there is no subcutaneous fat. All fat has been consumed. And if you see the limbs carefully, there is some degree of edema, that is, some element of kwashiorkor or nutritional edema is also present. In predominantly protein deficiency, the child is edematous with reddening of the hair, patchy pigmentation of the skin, and signs of vitamin deficiency. A little later in this cassette, we will see a typical child with nutritional edema. This is a typical brownish red rash of measles seen all over the body. Whenever a child comes with fever, running nose, and cough, watch for a developing measles rash. The rash appears all over the body and gradually fades over 10 days, but the marks over the skin persist for several weeks. During an attack of measles, you should watch for bronchiolitis, which is the commonest and serious complication of measles. Before the onset of the rash, you may see white spots on the buccal mucosa called as Koplik's spots. See the Koplik's spots on the buccal mucosa, which are mainly concentrated opposite the molar teeth. Koplik's spots. Note the hypopigmented patches of tinea versicolor. When you see such hypopigmented areas, always test the sensations. If the sensations are absent, think of leprosy. Tinea versicolor is most commonly seen over the neck, upper chest, and back. When you see an isolated patch like this, then leprosy should be kept in mind. On this forearm, see the hypopigmented patches which were also anesthetic. A very common occurrence in our country, that is leprosy. It is common amongst all classes, poor and rich, and at all ages. Luckily, today very effective drugs are available against leprosy and it is totally curable. These hypopigmented anesthetic patches are seen in tuberculoid leprosy. Note the wasting of hand muscles, thinner and hypothinner. In this hand, if you watch carefully behind the medial epicondyle, you will see the thickened ulnar nerve, which will of course be better appreciated on palpation. Thickening of nerves is another characteristic and diagnostic feature of leprosy. Here we see a small perforating ulcer on the great toe. Perforating ulcer is a sequelae to loss of sensations over the sole. And now as I tell the patient to move his foot, you will notice that he also has a foot drop on the left side, another very common neurological complication of leprosy. This is a thickened greater auricular nerve. Note its position and course across the sternomastoid muscle. It is visibly thickened and will be palpable like a cord. See the greater auricular nerve on the opposite side also. And this is lepromatous leprosy with leonine face, depressed bridge of nose, nodules on the ears, thickened greater auricular nerve, loss of eyebrows in the lateral one third, and lepromatous nodules all over the body. He also has a typical deep perforating ulcer on the sole. And now see the cheeks of this school-going boy. This type of hypopigmented patches are very common, especially in anemic children, and they are due to vitamin deficiency. But you should not fail to test the sensations and rule out leprosy. These hypopigmented patches will be cured after correcting vitamin deficiency. And this is vitiligo. Vitiligo is characterized by total depigmentation, not hypopigmentation but total depigmentation. So its diagnosis in our dark skinned patients is very obvious, but in white skinned patients it is difficult to differentiate it from tinea versicolor and leprosy. Vitiligo may occur as an isolated patch or may be extensive as in this patient, or may cause total depigmentation of the entire skin. The more extensive the vitiligo, the more difficult it is to treat. Watch the total depigmentation and complete white color of vitiligo. Urticaria. In this patient, note the edematous wheals on the skin which appear suddenly and disappear spontaneously within a few hours. This is urticaria. It is usually due to allergy to some drug or some food or due to worm infestations. It responds quickly to antihistaminic drugs and steroids. If it is extensive all over the body, or if there is laryngeal edema, then intravenous injections of Avil and a steroid should be given. Note the wheals of the urticarial rash. In this patient, watch the hyperpigmentation in the groins with multiple circular lesions which have a spreading raised border. This infection of tinea corporis or ringworm is very common amongst our patients. Local tolnaftate or clotrimazole ointment and oral griseofulvin for 3 weeks with boiling of all underclothes will cure the infection completely. This is a spot diagnosis. Pyoderma due to infected scabies. A child with itching, a rash that is maximum in interdigital folds, infected scabies. Give a thorough scrubbing bath to this child, dry with a towel, apply benzyl benzoate or gamma benzene hexachloride all over the body for 3 consecutive days. It is important to treat all the affected persons in the family at the same time and boil all the clothes at the end of the treatment. Otherwise, scabies will recur. This is a very early case of herpes zoster with vesicles just erupting. Note the characteristic vesicles which stop at the midline. The antiviral drugs are most effective if given at this early stage. This is the back of the same patient. Note the demarcation of the rash at the midline of the body, the distribution along a nerve root, and the erythema and vesicles which indicate a fresh eruption. This is another case on the 7th day of the rash, and here you can see that some vesicles have dried up, seen as black scabs, while some vesicles have newly erupted. In this way, new crops of vesicles keep on erupting for 2 to 3 weeks till the entire lesion dries up. This is a peculiar case where T1 nerve root is affected. See how the rash has started in the midline, goes along the lateral aspect of the arm and forearm, and covers the thumb. I am showing this case particularly to show you how the rash spreads along the distribution of a nerve root. And this is herpes zoster ophthalmicus over the forehead, eye and cheek. In this case, you should watch for corneal ulcer, which if untreated can blind the eye. So start antibiotic eye drops immediately. Herpes ophthalmicus. This is alopecia areata. Note the circular bald areas in the scalp. It may also occur in the area of the beard over the face. Often it is due to fungal, that is Teniasis infection, but sometimes due to no apparent cause. Treat it with antifungal and steroid ointments. Now this is a close-up view of alopecia areata. Note the scanty hair at the periphery of the patch, which have been described to be like exclamation marks. And this is a patch of alopecia areata in a female patient. Alopecia areata. Psoriasis. Psoriasis is characterized by silvery scales. It may be localized or it may be extensive all over the body. Note the silvery scales, and in the right sided lesion I have removed the silvery scale in the lower part where you can see the erythematous skin. This patient has psoriasis affecting even the scalp, which is full of silvery scales. And this patient has small circular psoriatic lesions all over the body. See the scales, particularly in the close-up view. Note the warts on the finger. Warts occur due to a viral infection and they should be excised under local anesthesia, preferably using a heat cautery. Now this patient had extensive warts over the legs. If the warts are numerous as in this patient, or if they are recurrent, then after excision use podophyllin solution for local application. See in the close-up view the well circumscribed tiny epidermal growths of warts. Here we see cracks on the sole. They are common in winter and in people who walk barefooted. If the cracks are deep, they are painful and there may be fungal superinfection. Also look for cracks on the hands which often accompany as seen on the ulnar border of the hands of this lady. These are keloids or hypertrophic scars. If there is itching and growth, give local hydrocortisone injection in the keloid. Keloid has tendency to recur when excised. If it is too ugly, refer to a plastic surgeon. Keloids are common at the site of ear pricks, BCG vaccination and over the sternum. This lady has keloids in the ear, forearm and leg. Now we shall see a few venereal diseases. Here we see a painless single ulcer or chancre. There is no slough in the base of the ulcer, but the base is indurated. Chancre is due to syphilitic infection and must be treated with penicillin. This is another chancre over the skin of the prepuce. Chancroid is characterized by multiple ulcers with slough which are painful and tender. Multiple ulcers of chancroid over the penis. Note the bead of pus coming out through the urethra. Severe burning during micturition and purulent discharge through urethra are due to gonorrheal infections. These are venereal warts. See the filiform warty growths along the corona and prepuce. This patient will need circumcision to remove all these warts and podophyllin applications to prevent recurrence. Venereal warts may also be seen at the anus. Here we see venereal warts around the anus. Whenever a venereal disease is detected, you should also keep in mind that there may be mixed infection and another disease may manifest after a while.